Hello and welcome all together to our 8th episode, HSV International. I'm Lennart and with me, as usual, Philipp. Hi, Philipp.
Hi, Lennart.
How are you? Recovered from the match on Saturday?
Yes. So luckily we had the Sunday to relax after our match on Saturday because I think we had to relax.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially after my evening was a little longer. We already mentioned last week that it was quite a home game for us, and therefore we spent a few hours in the city after the game with friends. So the Sunday was very much needed for me. Yeah. But I guess before we start talking about the match and about the episode, I believe we have to say something about this episode because it's kind of special. Because next week there will be no game for us. There's an international break. So this time we don't speak about the match against Augsburg in 2 weeks. This will be done next week as usual. So only the Dortmund game and also a small information regarding the summer break. In this time, obviously, there will be no matches as well. So we don't want to make a 3-month break for our podcast. Therefore, we would very much looking forward if our listeners would, I would say, send us wishes or ideas for some podcast episodes. So if you have one, please send it to us. So we want to keep our podcast ongoing during the summer break.
And I can just mention that if you have ideas about possible content, may it be the history of our club or the last international experience we had or other things all around our club, just let us know. Feel always free to drop us messages on Instagram, on Discord. And we will also provide you with information about our Discord channel on Instagram. So make sure to follow us there. And you will have the possibility to provide us with your ideas about the weeks during the summer break, not only the international break this week, but also during the summer break, like you already mentioned, Lennart.
Yeah. So if you don't have another thing, I guess we could dive directly into the Dortmund match.
Yeah, we can. Let's do it.
We already mentioned last week you had a very special place in the stadium. Therefore, probably a much better view on the pitch than I had. So maybe you can start. How did you thought about the first minutes of the game? How did we get into the game?
Should we really start with my point of view? I think yours was way more interesting from the guest sector's perspective. But of course, I can let you know just 1 or 2 minutes quickly about my experience. Maybe first of all, we met in Dortmund earlier on and had 1 or 2 beers before we went to the stadium at very nice weather. No, we have to mention this. It was sunny day, warm temperature. All of us wore jackets, of course, but it was amazing passing park with a lot of sunlight. Then at the stadium, we split it. And we went, at least me and my girlfriend went to the main stand or the stand on the other side because there are the hospitality seats at the BVB stadium. And as I said last week, my girlfriend and her boss invited me to the match to see it from the hospitality area. And yeah, how was the experience? It was interesting. There were seat or table reserved for only HSV officials. So there was our president, there was Bernd Wehmeier, for example, a very famous person in our club, and other officials too, but I did not recognize their faces. And I assume I would recognize them if they were more involved in public appearance of our club. And Bernd Wehmeier definitely is. I mean, all of us should know Bernd Wehmeier and our president, of course, too. Interesting to see them. And also Erik Hoover, our what is he? In financial Vorstand, a boss?
Yeah.
Just financial?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. At the moment, so, yeah. At least for now, yeah. So he was there too. Our view on the pitch was very nice. We sat unfortunately a bit closer to the southern stand of the stadium, to the area where the Dortmund fans are located, which is of course pretty impressive when you're in front of 26,000 standing fans or supporters. It was of course impressive to see, and they were loud. They were definitely loud in the second half, which we come to later. And yeah, of course, in the hospitality area, you have food and drinks. Was nice, but wasn't too special. They have a betting area, Lennart, and both of us know about betting too here in the podcast. And we had to predict the game result in the end. And I predicted a 2-1 for us. And after the halftime, I was pretty confident that my bet and my prediction could come up in the end. Turns out it didn't. But I was quite confident that I was one of just few guys betting on our club instead of betting on a home victory. Yeah, but that was basically it. So food and drinks, but no special thing there, with a nice view on the pitch and nice view on the guest sector too. Saw the large choreography, saw the intro into the second half, with a lot of pyrotechnics and flags. Was amazing to see. And it was also interesting that for periods of the game, especially in the first half, of course, after the goals and in between, that our guest sector was louder than the south stand of Borussia Dortmund. But, of course, we have to admit that was just partially. And, of course, especially after the goals, despite of that, the BVB fans also were very, very impressive. And with that being said, Lennart, I would hand over to you. How did you see the game? Just from the atmosphere, from your experience from the guest sector, how was it?
Well, let's start with the atmosphere, and before we dive into the scenes, I think it was pretty amazing. This week, I wasn't in the standing area, which I normally am, especially at every home game, definitely, but even in our away games, I believe 95% I am standing. And well, this week we were also standing. I mean, we had our seats, but I don't know if anyone were sitting. Well, aside from the halftime, during these 50 minutes, we were sitting, but I don't believe anyone was sitting during the 90 minutes, or let's say 95 minutes, with the injury time. Yeah, but a great atmosphere, like usual. Of course, supported by a very good game from us, especially in the first half. Great away experience, but sadly with no happy end for us. So but let's go to the game. I think it was very good. Dortmund had the first chance after, I believe, 7 minutes from Bayer, which I thought during the game was offside position by Adeyemi. I'm not sure if this can count as passive offside, because I still think he's irritating our defenders, but nevertheless, it was given. So Bayer had a great chance. Fernandes with a great save, but it produced a corner for Dortmund. Therefore, like I said, it would have been given at least at the beginning. I'm not sure if the VAR would have getting involved if Bayer had scored. Yeah, gladly for us, he didn't have to. So, after that, I believe the next big chance was our 1-0. Or do I forget another one, Philipp?
I think so too. I mean, yeah, Dortmund had the first huge chance, but after that, I think it was mainly us playing, especially with counterattacks, which were very well played in the first half, I'd say. We made a good game there. And I think that's the way how you need to play in Dortmund, because they will be dominant at home. And how we played our counterattacks was impressive this game. So especially Willy Mikkelbrancis in the first half, I really liked him there. He played a great game in the first half. And you need to point it out because in the second half it was completely different. But I think he was also involved in our first big chance, right?
Yeah, which produced directly a goal. It was a long ball by Fernandes, Königsdörfer with a header, and then Mikkel Bronsis, who won the ball against Svensson, I believe, on the
it was
our
against
offensive
Svensson.
right side, and then a very good cross, and Otela with his first Bundesliga and HSV goal.
Yes, finally.
Yeah, absolutely deserved at that moment, I believe. It was.
I think so too. It was surprising, but it was deserved. Because I think we really played our attacks better than Dortmund did. They had the chance with Bayer, like you mentioned before, but our attack was very well played because Mikkel Bronsis really passionate and great attack on Svensson and good cross. The finish, I couldn't see it clearly how the finish was, but nevertheless the ball was in after. So yeah, great first goal, deserved goal. And then we had the better chances afterwards. I think we were the only team playing in the first half. You always have to point it out because I've never seen such opposing halves in one game, you know? First half, it was mainly us playing, and second half, we played like we were not on the pitch. But then after the first goal, like we had 2-3 huge chances before we scored the second goal, right? And we even scored a second goal, but it was offside. Did you see it afterwards, Lennart?
Yeah, I saw it afterwards. During the game, I had no idea why it wasn't given.
Mm.
But I saw it afterwards, and yeah, you have to admit it. He goes in the direction of the ball, therefore he gets active. I would say, even if he doesn't touches the ball, I would say he is irritating the defender who produces their own goal in the end. So,
but who was it?
Our player who went after the ball, Königsdörfer.
Okay.
But I think it's understandable after a corner that the cross comes and he tries to head it. I'm not sure if you really can say that striker has to see this because he can't see how many defenders are behind him. I mean, he has to see that he's nearer to the goal than the ball comes. This is something he has to see, but I wouldn't make him such huge accusations on this one.
Yeah, okay. But then we had one more chance. And I think it was an attack from us with Königsdörfer and Vieira running toward the goal. And Königsdörfer just did not play the ball to Vieira because then Vieira would have been through. You know the scene I mentioned, Lennart? Remember?
Yeah, and I was really angry in the stadium during that scene because maybe he could have passed, but even if he don't pass the ball, he has to run.
Yeah.
If he would, uses his own tempo, and if he would have run straight through the goal or towards the goal, this would have been a huge chance as well. But he kind of breaks his own attack, and then I believe Felix Metscher could have sprinted after him and got the ball. Yeah, this was the only exception, I would say, during our really, really good counterattacks, like you already mentioned. This was a pretty bad one.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think the situation afterwards, our next attack was initiated by Vieira, is it right? I don't remember, but at least he gave the assist to Sami Lokonga, who then made the finish and scored our second goal. I think which minute was it, Lennart? 30th minute?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, but around the 30th minute, I would say. Yeah.
No.
And it was Vieira with a great ball into Lokonga's feet. Great finish as well.
And at this moment, I was so happy. And I just saw the guest sector escalating. It was just amazing to see how you guys were partying there. And I was just feeling that I'm on the wrong stand. But I was so happy too, because directly in the row behind us, there were BVB fans, of course, also in the hospitality area. But there were 4 guys, also, like, let's say mid-20s, maybe even 21 this age, and they were just screaming the whole time, and I was so annoyed. They were screaming "Scheiße HSV," and they were so angry on our club. And it was just like after it was instantly even before the game started, and within the first minutes. where nobody was screaming against us, and I was just turning around and was asking, what do we have against us? Because I did not have my scarf on me, so they did not realize that I was a HSV supporter. But then I turned around to these four guys, was just asking, guy, what do you have against us? And then he was a bit confused why I was asking, and he replied such a shitty answer. He was just like, yeah, I know, your coach, his parents are siblings. And I was just like, oh damn, okay, that's a good reason. And I was just turning around and thought my things. But then he tapped on my shoulder, making me turning around again, and I was so annoyed. But then he said, okay, now being honest, friend of us is St. Pauli supporter. That's why I hate HSV. But that's at least a reason, you know? Such a shitty reason of Merlin Polzin's parents. It's just silly, stupid stuff. But I mean, being a St. Pauli fan too, but nevertheless, that's a reason, you know? So, but that's, in my opinion, not a reason to scream it in the hospitality area, you know? You think it's the civilized section in the stadium, and then you have these four guys behind me. And then we scored the second goal, and I was so happy that they were silent. They were completely silent, and I was just so happy. And but then the second half started. Maybe that's a good intro to the second half.
Maybe point out that just before the half, it was like a third goal when Dortmund missed their first penalty, because I believe I celebrated this as much as I celebrated the first two goals from us, because
me too. Yeah,
missing this penalty directly before halftime, it was the perfect moment for us to gain even more confidence. But it didn't happen in the end.
And it was at a moment where many people in the hospitality area left their seats and went into the stadium back to get some food and drinks.
Oh, it was late enough already. Okay.
Yeah, it was in 45th minute. Yeah. So, or let's say 1 minute before the halftime was supposed to end. And I was just thinking, oh man, I would never leave my place a minute before before the whistle, before the final whistle of the first half. I would never leave my seat. And they were walking, all of them, in the stadium back there. And then the pen was given. And they all returned and a pen. Oh, that's interesting. I need to see it. And then, like you said, it wasn't even a save. Nemanja shot it on the side. He missed the goal.
Yeah.
So it was just like you said, like a third goal. It was so amazing. And these four guys, they were knocked out then because they were like, okay, now we get him. And then third goal for us, basically. I was so happy. I had a huge smile on my face when I turned back in the stadium. It was just amazing. In the area, sorry, the stadium the whole time, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
going back in the area, but amazing halftime. I just can't imagine how you guys felt in the
I remember that I turned to a friend who was standing beside me, and I've told him that these games, these moments, are the reasons you go to these games. I mean, we have a good season. We have a great season so far, but we also went to the games where 10 weeks and every game was shit. Every time we felt like garbage after the games. But we still were going. And these games, these moments, these are the reasons why we are doing what we're doing week after week. So, but like we mentioned several times already, the second half was a huge disappointment.
Yeah. Absolutely. We were at such a high point emotionally in the halftime, and it was like a roller coaster, completely turning on the other side, like a 90-degree fall down. I think we did not even have a shot on target, not even a ball contact in the opponent's box. So that says it all.
I believe we defended very well still. I think Dortmund
in the first
didn't have much chances out of the game. I still think the defense performance wasn't that bad, even in the second half. But you definitely have to point out that we had no chance at all, like you already said. We were so harmless during the whole half. We had no counter attack anymore. Yeah, this is not enough. This is not enough. And the moment the second goal was scored, I believe everyone knew what would happen. Probably even with the first one. I mean, it was quite late. I mean, it was after the 17th minute, I believe.
Yeah, I think so too. They scored all their 3 goals within 11 minutes.
Yeah. So after 70 minutes, we still had a 2-0 lead. And I really thought, well, maybe today we get it. They don't have these much chances. So come on, just 25 minutes. Yeah. But like you said, 11 minutes for 3 goals, 2 additional penalties as well.
Yeah, and deserved ones.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to admit that. I still think the third penalty, I mean, it is one. It's a clear penalty by the actual rules right now, but I think it's difficult if you shoot a ball with this speed from this distance and the player gets it on his arm.
It's unlucky.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not feeling really well with getting these penalties as well, because you can't really, what was the accusation that his arm is, it's too far away from the body, but everyone who played football know that you don't stand every time with the arms, just at your body, putting it on your torso. So,
very unlucky. And but I mean, Dortmund got 3 penalties in one game, so there also might be some mistakes on our side to provide them with these 3 penalties.
Absolutely.
And I think even if the last one was very unlucky, they were all deserved. And especially the first one, Omari, how he just went in this tackle or duel.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's in Germany we would say stumpf. Just without any.
Maybe let's call it stupid for now. Let's
call it stupid or without being careful. At least, just going in the tackle and don't think about where you are on the pitch, and you are in your own box, and there you need to be careful. Yeah, but he wasn't, and same with Mikkel Bronsis. Not that stumpf, but with his foot clearly touching and even kicking the other guy's foot. I don't know if it was Svensson or Riasson, I don't remember, but all deserved penalties.
Both penalties which were given because of a foul on Bayer.
Okay. Yeah. However, these 3 goals really broke our neck and made us feeling way, way worse than we were feeling after the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. And I still think because of the first half that a point would have been deserved, but we didn't get it in the end. So
yeah, you can argue this, of course. However, I would say the 3 points for Dortmund are deserved too, because it was our own fault to get these 3 penalties away. And I mean, I think Dortmund had in the end 24 shots on target, and we just had 4. And I mean, they could have scored more goals if we would not have had our special goalkeeper Daniel Heuer-Fernandes, who made a brilliant game, saving brilliantly many chances that were usually safe goals. So we could, to be honest, be very thankful to Heuer-Fernandes that it was just a 2-3 in the end. And a friend of mine was texting me afterwards, like, GG, a typical Dortmund game. First half, the worst you have ever seen. Second half, the best you have ever seen. And yeah, I think it was like this, Dortmund was not on the pitch in the first half, but was absolutely there on the second, with us being the complete opposite. Good first half, bad second half, and then it turns out that Dortmund is simply the better team, and then they got the win. As we lost, no one of us got any points for the prediction, Lennart.
Yeah, sadly.
But I would say let's wrap it up, the Dortmund game. Or do you have other points on that?
No, I believe we've said everything needed about the game. Not a good result. One very good half, one bad half, and we have to get the remaining necessary points out of other games. I believe we didn't expect a point before the game. Yeah, of course, we were disappointed, but only because the first half was so good. If everyone would have told us before the game we will be losing 3-2, I don't believe any one of us would say, oh no, how could this have happened? So
yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah, I think so too. Then let's leave it like this, Lennart. Do we have news of the week? What happened despite of the Dortmund game?
Yeah, I believe there was quite much happening this week. And
Like
maybe
always.
let's start with the news which don't involve our club. Have you read what was happening? Well, probably what was happening during the Africa Cup final between Senegal and Morocco.
Yes, I read about it. I think it was the team from Senegal who left the pitch because they were unsatisfied with the ref decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and they left the pitch. And I think it was Sadio Mane who went back in the locker room and got the squad out again. And I think in the end they won it, Senegal. I know they won it. But I have to admit I did not see the game. I just watched the highlights, and it's already, when was it? In January, right? So 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So I don't completely remember. But what's your news there? What happened?
Well, the news is that the match result was overruled because they were saying, or are saying, that due to Senegal's, I would say, leaving of the pitch, they broke the rules, and now the game is, I believe, 3-0. But I think the result in the end doesn't really matter if it's 1-0, 2-0, or 3-0. But Morocco is said to be the new Africa champion, despite losing the game. So what do you think about that, Philip?
Oh, what's my opinion on this? Tough question, Lennart. I don't know. I mean, what will it lead to? Will we now overrule every match, even 2 months afterwards? It's been a long time since the game ended. And I think, I mean, why did they not decide about it 1 week afterwards, when the game was still fresh? So why 2 months later? I don't understand it, but I'm not in it. Could you elaborate, or what do you think about it?
Yeah, I'm not sure about where the time difference and where the decision now, because I'm not sure how. Well, I mean, we're in Germany. We know how bureaucracy works, and it's a very slow progress sometimes. Which confuses me most, to be honest, is that the game was played normally. They played the whole injury time, and even the 30 minutes after that normal. And now that they've lost the game, the matches overruled. I think it's very difficult. Also, there were several newspaper articles suggesting that the fans or supporters from Morocco also intervened with matches and players during the games. So I'm not happy, to be honest, that games like these are decided by that. I thought it was great that the game was ongoing 2 months ago, and I mean, I don't have any special sympathies for either side. I wanted to see a great match, and for me, it didn't matter back then which team would have won. But I want to have a decision on the pitch, and the decision on the pitch was that Senegal had won the game, and therefore I'm very disappointed that the whole tournament is decided by that, because it kind of downgrades the whole competition, in my opinion.
I agree. Overall, I think it's a decision that is not quite satisfactory, but I think we have some more topics to discuss that are HSV related, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And a topic which is not very pleasant, I would say. Robert Glatzel was suspended from our squad on the weekend, and not because of bad performance, but due an interview he gave last week. Did you read it, Philip? And what you thought about it?
I did not read it entirely, just read some passages of it. I think it was with the Morgenpost, with one of the newspapers in Hamburg. And he was basically complaining about his minutes he receives in the league. That is, he does not really understand or fully understand why he gets so few minutes, and wanted to use this opportunity to somehow express his discomfort and his dissatisfaction. He also mentioned that he talked to Merlin Polzin about it, but did not understand that he did not play in the end against Cologne, right? Or did he mention something else, Lennart?
No, I think overall, this was the sense of it. Like you said, I believe everyone can understand that he's not satisfied right now due to his minutes. A lot of supporters in our stands really don't understand it as well. Both of us, I believe, have expected him much more often in the starting 11, or maybe even getting swapped in the game earlier, more often. So basically, just get more minutes than he had. Especially if you let's see how bad Königsdörfer was performing, at least in the first half of the season. I believe it's much better now. Not great, but better. And right now, if you see how much minutes Damien Downs is getting, and not playing well either. So I can understand him. Also, I think he spoke very respectfully over the club, about the club, about the coach as well. There was no insight, no. I didn't have quite discomfort when I've read it. I mean, most of the time I think, just shut up, do what you can do, and don't talk to the press this much. But this time, I don't think it was so bad.
No.
Did you thought about it otherwise?
No, I absolutely agree. I think it was a very mature interview. He really expressed his opinion in a respectful manner, like you mentioned before, and also expressed his gratitude and thanks to the club and to its supporters in particular, to never let him down. Okay, this more to the supporters, but he was so respectful, and that's why all of us like Robert Glatzel. And we know that he might have his difficulties with running towards the defenders in the Bundesliga and pressing very high. But nevertheless, look at what Damien Downs does, what you mentioned before. He's not playing better. He really isn't. And he received so many more chances to show his skills compared to Robert Glatzel. And I think that's something I absolutely agree with him, that I cannot understand it. So if you give Damien Downs this amount of minutes, maybe why don't you give it to Robert Glatzel as well? And I think that's something you can argue about, and that's something you can express in a respectful manner. But the club decided to nevertheless suspend him for the squad against Dortmund due to this interview.
Yeah, but I believe it was just for the Dortmund match, and in 2 weeks, but overall he is in the training like before, just normal, and against Augsburg he will be pretty sure, if he doesn't injure him or anything else, be in the squad again, right?
Yeah, I think so too. I think it was just one-time thing for the Dortmund match, and I also hope that he will return then again against Augsburg, which will we discuss in the next episode with our preview.
Yeah, good. Exactly. Yeah. So let's not dive too much into the Augsburg game right now.
Exactly, because now it's international break, like you've mentioned before, and we have some players going on. I was about to say vacation, but they're going on a trip. I think, namely Miro Muheim for Switzerland, Gotchuleshvili for Georgia, Filotele for Nigeria, his debut in the first national team. And
Congratulations to that. I didn't knew
absolutely.
that it was his first, or will be his first national game.
Yeah, was pretty surprised as well. But Nigeria is a very, very strong nation, and it's an honor for him to be nominated, also for us to now have a player who's in Nigeria's first national squad.
Absolutely. But he played so great before in Basel, so I thought he pretty sure had to be nominated before.
Yeah, obviously not. So it was a surprise for me too. But now, congrats. Very nice. And the last one is Luka Vuskovic for Croatia. And then we have some more players for the youth teams. And speaking about the last guy, Luka Vuskovic, did you see about his market value update?
Yeah, from, I believe, 40 million before, now 60 million, right? The new highest for all-time record. Yeah.
Again.
Again, yeah, absolutely. 40 million was a record, now 60. Maybe he will have another record at the end of the season. Will be another update, I believe, in May or July or June. And at least in June, he will be an official HSV player, because I believe the loan is after the 30th June. Yeah. So maybe if his update will be before, he will have another update for us and a new record.
I hope so. But nevertheless, we will be quite sad when we see this update, because I assume that it will go up again. And insane amounts what we are speaking about. Pretty impressive.
Yeah. In addition to that, Nikolai Remberg also has a new record for him. I believe 7 million.
Yeah.
And Zambi Lukonga is also back to the 2-digit million number, 10 million.
Exactly. Yeah.
I believe he had 16 or 18 million after his transfer to Arsenal back then. But he's back to 10, and maybe he gets a 16, 18 again in his career.
Let's hope so. We've bought him for 300k, so
not the worst transfer.
No, if we make this gap of a profit, I mean, imagine, that would be enormous.
Yeah.
Very, very nice. And I think the last guy making a huge profit was Nicolas Capaldo, right? I think from 4 million to 5 million, or was it from 5 to 6?
No, he's on 5 now. I'm not sure what he had before. And I think Miro Muheim also has 5 million now.
You're right. Yes, Miro Muheim also improved a bit. True. So very nice. Nice guys. Well done. I think just few guys decreasing in market value, but I think it wasn't too substantial.
Yeah, Gotchuleshvili
was I think so too.
A bit. I think Bakriata was improving again.
Improves, yeah.
Now at 1 million.
Slightly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so overall, this market value update is just tiny adjustments. The more complex one will be then in the summer. So looking forward to this, because I think we will overall improve our market value.
Yeah, if you say about the current squad, then yes. I mean, at the end of the season, we will be losing 60 million right now due to Luka Vuskovic. Yeah, so our overall market value will definitely be reduced that next season. But just the guys which are playing right now for us will having a higher market value in 3 months or 2 months now. I'm pretty sure of it.
Yeah, so what happened despite of that? And maybe just one more thing, which is related to both of the clubs we were discussing in this episode. Sebastian Kehl was sacked, or they terminated contracts, I'm not sure, but at least they are not working together anymore. He was the sports director of Borussia Dortmund. And Lennart, what's the special thing about it? Why do we mention him?
Yeah, because Sebastian Kehl was even before strongly linked to our club. And I've read yesterday that he's also linked to Tottenham Hotspur. So maybe a rival for this position. But at least if we are really interested. So let's see about that. At least now we don't, probably wouldn't have to pay a huge fee to Dortmund to get him. So I would say even if they have still a contract, Borussia Dortmund would probably be very glad to don't have to pay a salary. If we
I think so
would
too.
be really interested, we have to be very careful about that. It's just a rumor. So let's see.
And he's a very acknowledged player, ex-player in Dortmund, former player. So I assume they are out in good terms, and they would not be standing in his way to sign for another club. So let's wait on that. We will see how this will turn out in the end. Maybe he will be our new sports director. What happened else, Lennart? What did our women do on the weekend?
Yeah, sadly they lost 4-1 against Eintracht Frankfurt, which was to be expected, I would say. Frankfurt is a very strong side, not only in the men, but in the women's league as well. Probably even stronger. And the important thing is that Essen and Jena also lost. So we still have a 3-point lead before Essen, and I believe 7 goals in addition to that. And 5 games to go. We have very, very difficult games still. So it wouldn't be such a surprise if we don't get so much points anymore. Yeah, but let's see. 3 points ahead, maybe 3.5. Like I said, 7 goals in addition to that. So I really hope both of our teams will be staying in the first league. And I'm still very confident about it. What do you think?
Me too. No, me too. Also confident about it. As you said, not too surprising, the result of the women on the weekend. But let's maybe also have a quick look on the table for the men's squad, because many teams that are below us, they got some points on the weekend, namely Cologne and Mönchengladbach. They drawed in the derby. Bremen won in Wolfsburg, huge win for them.
Absolutely.
And what happened else? You would need to have
Mainz
a look.
won the derby against Frankfurt. So a very huge win for them, which, right now they're slightly above us. Really 1 goal with the same goal difference, but they scored more goals than we did. So, it doesn't get any closer than this. But St. Pauli lost after a 1-0 lead, 2-1 against Freiburg. Very important for us. Not because of the rivalry, of course, but because of the stands in the table. Yeah, which at least gives us still a 6-point lead for the relegation zone and 11 goals, still in good lead, but the teams behind us are getting closer. Yeah,
they're getting closer. The lead is shrinking. That's it. So we have to be aware and use our home games in the upcoming weeks against Augsburg, against Freiburg, maybe also against Hoffenheim to secure the final points. How many points do you think we need to stay in the league this season?
I believe if we get 5 additional points, we would be safe.
Out of 7 games.
Out of 7 games. We also have the away game in Bremen, the Nord Derby, which is, again, you must lose and you don't have to lose. As a Hamburg supporter, you might say you are not even allowed to lose it.
But it can happen. It's a tough game.
Yeah, it can happen, of course. I mean, you can lose every game, but you also can win it. We almost won against Bayern in the second game.
And we also almost won against Dortmund last week,
Yeah, the 2-0 lead after 17 minutes, We've won against Stuttgart, which are now, I believe, on 3rd position after this weekend. So we've beaten strong side, but we also lost against teams which are not so great in the table. So
let's just make sure to get this final 5 points to stay in the league.
So you would agree with the 5 points as well, or do you think we need maybe 2 or 3 points more?
No, I don't think so. Would mean that St. Pauli as 16th would get 12 more points, which means that they would need to win 4 out of their 7 matches, which I don't think they will. So I agree with these 5 points. 2 home game victories, and then we're in the league for next year. This would be amazing. Lennart, we have at least one question of the week, also in this episode.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Let's hear what we've got so far.
Yes, let me just play it.
Hello, it's Rainer here, your old mate from the early days of the fan club. I listened to your podcast last week and need to clarify a few things for the listeners straight away. It wasn't Rolf, but me who played in the top amateur division. As captain, I led my team to the championship in the 1980-1981 season. Throughout the entire season, we conceded just 29 goals in 30 matches. Incidentally, during his exchange tournament in France, I played as a youth player, marking the top scorer of the 1958 World Cup, Just Fontaine. Unlike Rolf, however, I know that I wouldn't be able to play in the Bundesliga anymore. Here are my questions for your podcast. In which match did Rolf and I shout lowest division level throughout the entire game? Next question. Why did Borussia Dortmund use the Hamburger SV logo from the years of 1950 to 1978 on Saturday? Was it to mark an anniversary? Final question. I've been an HSV fan for 66 years and we have had some outstanding players. My absolute favorite player was the Yugoslavian centre-back Ivan Buljan, but there's a player in our current squad who could have played in our glory days too. Who could that be? Finally, I'm delighted to see HSV playing in the Bundesliga again in my twilight years, and I'm thrilled with our young coaching team. We will stay up. Blue, white, and black greetings, and only HSV.
Yeah, thank you for your questions, Rainer. Well, first of all, sorry for last week when we said it was Wolf, and if it was really Rainer, we have to correct this, of course.
And to apologize.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry about that. But thank you for the clearing. The first question, what would you say?
Yeah, which game was it where both of them screamed that it was unterste Kreisklasse, lowest division level of football they were seeing? I don't know, to be honest, Lennart. I have no clue. I know the story for sure, which is more than just a rumor in our fan club, but nevertheless, I assume that I have not been there in the fan club at this time. Do you know more about it?
I also just know the story. It was before my time at the fan club, but I'm sure that I was at the game during that time because if I remember correctly, it was a game against Borussia Mönchengladbach. And I think I mentioned before that my father is a Gladbach supporter. And because of that, we've went to a lot of games between those clubs, even before I entered the fan club, especially in Gladbach because it is much nearer to us located. And if I remember correctly, we've lost, I think, 4-1, 4-0. It was a pretty devastating loss. Especially because during that time we were a very strong side. I believe during that part of the season had really good chances to at least go into the Champions League. I'm not sure if it was still possible to win the title during that part of the season, but at least for Champions League, maybe under Bruno Labbadia as a coach, then I probably think it must have been early in 2010. Yeah, but this is a guess. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure it was a game against Gladbach. Yeah, in Gladbach as well.
That's at least a response to Rainer's question. So I would say we are curious about the true response in the end, which I'm pretty sure you will provide us with, Rainer. Maybe up to the second question, the logo. Do you know why Dortmund used it on Saturday?
Well, I can also just guessing about that, but they had an anniversary game, which Rainer was also mentioning, that maybe that was the case. That is special jersey for that as well. I believe for the 100th anniversary of the stadium Rote Erde, which is located directly beside the new stadium, which is probably much more known to the football fans around the globe right now. And therefore I believe they used our old logo. Do we have other information?
No, I think so too. It's just also a guess. But as you were mentioning, this anniversary game, they had the special jersey, and they, I think, had the whole topic of the day was like being grateful for the old days and remembering the old days. So they used also their old logo on the screens. So I assume they also did for us. I think a pretty good game to show old logos, because imagine they would have played against RB Leipzig.
They could have just let their logo go empty.
Exactly. That would be the only possibility, because Leipzig is pretty young, like we already discussed a couple of episodes ago.
I don't know how long is the company Red Bull existing. Maybe they could have just...
that's a good question.
Just painted something from Red Bull, not from the football club,
No, maybe. I don't know. Let's maybe come to the third and last question. Who do you think, Lennart, could keep up with the squad in the glory days back then?
I'm thinking about two players. I mean, Rainer mentioned his favorite player as a central defender, center back. Therefore, the first player which comes to mind, of course, must be Luka Vuskovic, I believe. If we think of the same position. But also, I'm not sure if Fabio Vieira could also made the squad. Well, do you have another player or would disagree with one of those?
No, I don't disagree. I agree with your opinion, and I think these two players are the two players that could keep up with a very, very good squad. Even decades ago, when we won the Champions League title, what is meanwhile known as Champions League. But I think the other ones, do they really have the quality of playing in the Champions League winning squad? I'm not sure, but I think these two guys definitely would be able to. So the decision must be between one of the two guys. So also with that, Rainer, we are looking forward to your solution on these questions, which will provide you, our listeners, with in the next episode.
So, do we have another topic, Philipp?
I don't think so. Maybe just about our prediction game for Augsburg, we will provide you and speak about all of that in the upcoming episode, which will be published next week when we look forward to the Augsburg game.
Absolutely. So it was really nice again to speak with you, Philipp. Hopefully nice episode for our listeners as well. And
yes, hope so too.
Please enjoy the national break. Maybe more relaxed weekend for both of us, and then we see and speak each other next week.
That's how we do it, Lennart. Take care, enjoy your weekend too, and hear you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.